Hi, class. Welcome back, and thank you for continuing to work through our change in situation here. And so now we're on Module 11. So now we're working back towards the study of white ethnic Americans. And this is an important area in looking at sociology, because some of the very first sociological studies on race and ethnicity um, outside of W.B. Du Bois studying African Americans was works like Street Corner Society, which was um, uh, ethnographic study into Italian neighborhoods in Boston in the 1920s and 30s. And so we're going to look at white ethnic Americans, and this gives us some of the earlier data, the quantitative data in sociology. So if you took social policy, or if you're going to take it with me, you'll learn about Jane Addams and Whole House and the research that they did in Chicago in the early 1900s. And they were working mostly with immigrants from Italy and from Eastern Europe and doing early demographic study there. So they're doing some of the earlier quantitative sociology. So it's an important area to look at. And in this section, I found a couple extra videos that I think you'll find interesting. And I'll get to these here. And so, of course, like usual, you're going to log on 3 times in the course of the next week and start responding to the Module 10 discussion on Asian Americans. Then you're going to read Chapter 10. And there's a video on immigration and integrating immigrants into society. This is from a Harvard professor named Mary Waters, and she's doing an interview, I think, in California about her work, and she gets into how ethnic groups integrate into American society. And there's a Dropbox assignment associated with that. And 2 videos you're going to watch that we'll use for discussion post in the Module 11 discussion for your initial post. And of course, we have the Chapter 10 quiz. All of these assignments are due a week from today, so next Monday at 9 o'clock, with the exception of the quiz, of course, which I'll keep open for 2 weeks for you. And I'll just get through what we have here, and you can see what's going on. So here's the video you're going to watch with Mary Waters, and I want you to write a 1 to 1.5 page reaction discussing key points that her research shows. And then, of course, we have the Module 11 discussion forum, and there's 2 interesting videos. I think, as you can tell, I like music and poetry, and those are 2 things I am not talented in at all. I cannot perform music, and I am not a poet. So I do appreciate people who have that gift. The first video we have is looking at music and looking at the Scotch Irish. And they were an early group that faced some interesting challenges in looking at race and ethnicity. So you're going to look at them and then look at some of the cool contributions that came out of them when they were in Appalachia. And so the music that they put together carries on today. I'm a huge fan of music, especially music that's originally written and composed. And so they have this great legacy that has moved on to American folk music that is carried on through today into things like country and to rock and roll, and they blend their different flavors together. So you have a little bit of their ballads from the other side of the Atlantic that were mixed with hymnals, and the energy that they created is great, and it lives on with our modern music. And then next is a video about one of my favorite places on earth. It's Arthur Avenue in the Bronx. And this is a video that shows it's a little bit of a secret for you. If you ever go to New York and you want the very best of food, go to the Bronx, by the Bronx Zoo. Hands down, the best place to get food in the whole city. We're going to watch a video here on Arthur Avenue, and it gets into some interesting concepts that go on with these ethnic neighborhoods. And when you watch it, I want you to pay attention to how these business people relate to each other. They have a slightly different take on how business is conducted. And this is something that may or may not happen in other neighborhoods. I'm not really sure the extent of cooperation that happens in other places. I do know the Bronx very well, and I do know how things operate in this place. And so you're able to see what goes on in this particular neighborhood, and compare it to how you feel this differs in the typical American neighborhood. Maybe you see some similarities, maybe not, but that's going to be up to you to write about. I do want you to pay attention to this. If you do watch it, when you do watch it, please watch it with a full stomach. Otherwise, you're going to get hungry, because there's tons of food shown in it. But it's interesting video, and it shows a little slice of New York that people generally try to avoid unless they're from the Bronx or they know about the area. But it's a wonderful place and interesting video. So you're going to put an initial post about this one as well. So you have two videos you're going to post on, and that's really about it. So I do appreciate the work that's going on. Please, if you're having any issues getting your work done, please contact me and let me know. I do understand that we're under some different situations here, and I hope you're working through them just fine. This is kind of an odd way to end a semester, and I'm not like this at all, but we're going to make the best of it, and hopefully you're still able to have fun with this class. So thank you so much for your time, and get a hold of me if any questions.